Hello everybody, welcome back to my channel Trading Secrets. This channel is for entertainment purposes only. For those of you who do not know, my name is Ali. I have over 20 years experience teaching accounting, economics, business and law. Through this channel I'll be providing some stock analysis and a quick update on the $1 Million Challenge. So if anybody's not aware of this, this is a journey of investment of $1,000 to return of $1 million over a period of 3 years using a strategic or compound return investing. So the objective is try to get 201 trades, each an average return of 3.5%. It's not 201 consecutive trades, we do take into account losses. So for further details about how to join us for less than $9 a month, information is available in the description below. In today's video we're going to be looking at more questions with regard to our brokers trading MMTLP off exchange, and we're also going to be looking at some viewer questions with regard to AST and what you should do potentially in terms of what you should consider before making a decision in terms of transferring or not to transferring. We're also going to be looking at ticker symbol SMCI and asking the question, is the run over? So stay tuned for that. Before we get started, let's have a look at what's happening in the market. So first headline here from Market Watch, you can see the stock market bounces back from inflation inspired dive. Here are the key messages for investors. So there was concern in terms of potential inflation. The economy is still on a knife edge, but I think overall we are looking at potentially avoiding recession in the near term. And finally, there's also a big week for earnings. We can see a number of prominent stocks are due to call this week. No stock market trading on the Monday, but we do have stocks such as Walmart, we have Nvidia, Etsy, Moderna, amongst a few others. Let's start by having a quick reminder of Victor's initial post where he talked about potential off-exchange broker trading for MMTLP. And what he initially stated here, MMTLP or NXBR, which is the symbol given after the halt, what he is suspecting is that there is possible broker-to-broker trading off-exchange and wouldn't rule out the possibility of manipulation still going on behind the scenes. There have been a number of additional images. So the first one here we can see is dated 15th of February 2024, so fairly recent, and on this screenshot the sell price of, let's call it NXBR, ranges from $29 to $30. So what he stated, here's a screenshot and seems like the price is going up. I highlight the date and time and we see the price moving. Who's buying, who's selling? So that is a question, I think, certainly in terms of the broker. He hasn't shared who the broker is, but if we look at the next screenshot here, he is certainly seem to be correct. The price now has jumped from the 30 in the previous screen to 36 and it goes up to 38. And then in the follow-on screenshot number 3 that I'm going to share with you from 38, we can see here it's gone to 49 and then it goes up to 50.55. So certainly an increase in price. So a question here from AK Dallas is stating, do you have the older pics where it showed like $511, and also you posted this earlier, what are the 2084 and 199 figures? So we can see that on the screen here 2084, and we can also see 199 with a percentage return of 10.58%. So hadn't looked at that before, but certainly it should be on the dash in terms of MMTLP currently registered as NXBR by this particular broker. So certainly a question for them to get back to us. Let's now have a look at the first question with regard to AST from one of the viewers. So shout out here to Cal Drogo, who posted in the comments, Ali, great video. Is NBH shares still guarantee money if it's still in brokerage accounts like Schwab, Fidelity, Robinhood, etc.? Please give us a straight opinion. We know you are not advising us. Well, certainly I'm not advising you. I'm sure you all know right now everything is for entertainment purposes only. If we are to take your videos seriously, you have to answer the question, which has been posted many times and has been dodged. Well, unfortunately I don't think it has been dodged, and it has been answered many times, this particular question as well. However, I'm happy to answer this again, and what I posted in response to Cal is unfortunately on the stock market there is no such thing as guaranteed money. You do not have you do however have, in this particular situation, full entitlement to one share of NextBridge Hydrocarbons regardless of whether or not you transfer to AST or not. So that is a contractual agreement I believe that the company have made. So as a holder of MMTLP, you are also, or should be, a holder of NextBridge Hydrocarbons. However, with regard to the question of AST, if you choose not to move your shares to AST, you will not get the new company shares, or should we say the new company, which does not have a name yet, and it's being referred to as Newco. So if you do transfer to AST, you get, in addition to NextBridge Hydrocarbons, one share of Newco. So that's the let's say, inducement in terms of potentially encouraging you to move your shares to AST. So one of the reasons why the company wants you to do that, and Greg McCabe has also done that, is so they can prove a share imbalance. So it does not mean you will lose your MMTLP and Next Rich Hydrocarbon shares. So let's now move on to have a look at a question from Darren. And what Darren has stated in terms of a similar question is, what are the consequences if we do not move to AST when the NewCo shares become available? So first of all, the NewCo shares are not yet available. We are still waiting for the S1 to be effective. Once the S1 is effective, the company will then officially announce a deadline. Then you can potentially go to your brokers and say, I wish to move to AST because I wish to qualify for the shares of NewCo. So although the brokers have been setting deadlines, this is not a deadline that is, you could say, in agreement with the company. And what Darren also stated here is, are they meant to replace the new tainted MMTLP shares? Well, the shares of NewCo are certainly not replacing MMTLP. MMTLP shares are now Next Rich Hydrocarbon shares, but they're not trading on any exchange, and they're not technically known as MMTLP anymore. And if we don't move to AST, he stated, before the release of the S1, do the NewCo shares ultimately replace MMTLP? So the straight answer there is no. And have they been transferred, leaving the balance of shares worthless? Again, answer to that, no. I don't believe the shares are worthless, but however, the value of any share is always what a buyer is prepared to pay. So until a buyer comes across, we do not have a value. And the value obviously depends on the assets, and the assets will depend on person who is buying, looking at the assets and coming up with an agreement. So obviously that's potentially the best I can do with regard to this question here. So again, in terms of making a decision whether you move your shares to AST or you don't, that's certainly a personal decision as far as I'm concerned. My broker currently does not allow moving of shares to AST. However, if I actually had the choice and was able to, I would make the choice of moving my shares with AST. Finally, I'd like to finish off by having a look at ticker symbol SMCI, also known as Super Microcomputer. This is a stock that has been featured on a number of occasions on the channel, and also featured more as recently as January the 19th, 2024, in terms of one of our stock alerts, and also shared with due diligence in our Discord, as well as it being a regular stock on our $1 Million Challenge. So let's have a look at what's happened. We can see here, according to investing.com, the stock went down close to 20% to suffer the worst day in over 6 months after a stunning run. So it did break the $1,000 mark. So what we're now going to have a look at is the impact of this from an RSI point of view. So if we have a look at the chart for SMCI going back just prior to 2024, we can see that it was trading above the $200 mark, and just at the start of 2024 it went on an unbelievable run. So from just above $200 we can see it breached the $1,000 mark, and from after that we can see that the RSI fell by 30 points in one day, after being the second stock in history to have a 97 plus daily RSI, also known as Relative Strength Index. So what does this mean basically, and what was the other stock involved? So obviously there was also GME, also known as GameStop, and that was the other one which had a very similar setup. In terms of SMCI, it's currently down 25% at close of trading, and in terms of the all-time high in excess of $1,000. Whether or not it achieves that, we don't know. We will have to wait and see. But what I'm going to finish off by is giving a shout out to Fiscal Minotaur. Have a look at this post from Fiscal Minotaur on Reddit. It illustrates the key point that you should try to always avoid FOMO, and you should always try to avoid buying at the top. So what he stated here is Save My Life SMCI. So he's currently, I believe he's invested $100,000. He's down $70,000 in looks like one day, and his entire portfolio has gone into OFTD calls at $1,000, and he's looking for WSB, Wall Street Bets, to help him out, trying to send this thing back up, or maybe only him lose $20,000. So he's had a screenshot there, but that screenshot clearly just basically illustrates the point that it's always not a good idea to buy at the top. Always a great idea to protect your profits. Not all stocks are going to behave like SMCI. I believe that was fairly unique, and certainly in terms of a pullback right now, I think it is going to go possibly continue. Difficult to say in terms of a company. I think the fundamentals are great, but going forward, let's see what happens. But certainly we will be watching it. And finally, thank you very much for watching. Please stay tuned.